Customer obsession is everything that we do in being a great real estate agent. At the end of the day, it's not really prospecting. It's not actually about selling houses. It's actually about solving the needs of today's customers. Whether or not we're working with a buyer, a seller, a tenant, or a landlord, we need to make sure that we're 100% obsessed about what their challenges are. What the best agents do is that they identify the unmet, unidentified, and unsatisfied needs of the client. And then they work out how to go and satisfy those needs. Now, if you can create a customer experience around that, then that ultimately allows you to generate more leads more often. You see, at the end of the day, customer experience is really the modern version of marketing. And this is the thing that actually fuels the power of word of mouth marketing. Now, a lot of people don't really understand that because word of mouth marketing isn't necessarily touchable, seeable, or something that literally you get to experience. But yet you're in this position that from time to time, when you go out searching new products or services, one of the things that you do is you often ask the people around you, and particularly people that have recently been through that same experience, looking to identify what some of the challenges are, what some of the things are that you need to be aware of before you make the decision to move into that purchasing cycle. That information gathering stage of what the customer actually does is really important because as individual agents, we need to make sure that we enable the client. Enablement is about understanding that we're not just going out there to do a market appraisal. Enablement is that we're actually going out there to give them an idea on what their home is worth so that they can make some better decisions for the future. To help them make that decision as to whether or not they retail the asset or whether or not they make the decision to hold the asset and maybe later on make the decision to maybe sell it or even lease it out. You see, what's critically important here is that too many people are too focused on what the competitors are doing. Too many people are too focused on what they did yesterday, hoping that it's going to work again today. But the world's fundamentally shifting. You see, at the end of the day, if you have a look at what's happened to mobile phones, it rapidly changed the entire way that we work. And it's fine to say that you want to ignore social, but we're all sucked into it. And so off the back of that, we're living in a brand new world and a brand new generation. You can't be thinking back to how we did in the 90s or the early 2000s. You've got to be starting to plan for what we're going to be doing as our market moves forward to 2020 and beyond. This whole idea about what's happening in the course of the next decade is a very fast consumer, consumers that ultimately want questions answered straight away. And they're very impulsive around what they do. We're in what we've got to call a media and social media driven market, where all of a sudden one challenge all of a sudden becomes massive and people rush out there to go and do real estate transactions. And didn't we see that during the course of the pandemic? When ultimately everyone thought that nothing was going to happen in real estate, every single market that opened, the next key thing that happened, we had a boom in real estate conditions. Huge amounts of demographical shifts where people making the decision to just change where they're going to be living, making that decision to work from home, only realizing that they actually want to work from the office. This is so critically important to understand that now more than ever before, you need to be obsessed about your customers, you need to understand what their challenges are, and you need to make sure that you deliver on that customer experience standard. When was the last time you sat down with your team and actually spoke to them about all the key challenges that your customer goes through, from meeting and greeting at the open for inspection, right the way through to successfully living in the home for 12 months after its purchase? If you understand all the challenges and the things that the customer does both before, during, and after they meet you, then that allows you to be able to build up your value proposition so you can serve them in more powerful ways. Really hope you've enjoyed our coaching tip, and we look forward to seeing you next time.